welfare meaning and the significance. Social welfare encompasses a multi-dimensional effort to promote social well-being through interventionist policies. Now, what it integrates? It integrates socio-economic, political, and cultural well-being, and it removes the inequalities, it elevates the inequalities, and foster collaborative progress in a society. Now, here there are two perspectives of social welfare system. Institutional perspective, which tells that it is the obligation over the government or the institution which are well established in a society. So welfare is a societal obligation embedded in the state policies and institutional framework. Example, healthcare, education, and pensions. So next is residual perspective. It tells that welfare emerges as a fallback mechanism, only stepping in when market mechanism or familiar support fails. So in that situation, this perspective helps in the social welfare. Now, what is the significance of the social welfare? First of all, it addresses the socio-economic disparities. Every community is different from each other, and there are high class people, there are low class people, there are huge social economic disparities or gaps which are there in a society. So a society has to be like the society which is equal in most of the terms is considered as prosperous. So this social welfare significance is that it helps in equalizing the societal and economic disparities. So its first function is as a counterbalance to capitalist tendency of inequalities. What are the capitalist tendency? These are like the rich people are getting richer day by day and the poorer are getting poor every day. So it addresses the socio-economic disparities. Okay. So the next example is progressive taxation system funding welfare programs to redistribute wealth. So how they are going to remove this disparity? By progressive taxation system funding welfare programs to redistribute the wealth. Now the second significance is social cohesion and stability. Social cohesion means that each segment of society is aligned or is living peacefully with the other segments of the society. Welfare assumes marginalized group remain integrated into the broader socio-economic political system. It reduces class conflict by addressing grievances of vulnerable groups. Which are the vulnerable groups? Like suppose our society has a very small number of people, they will be considered as down, or they will be treated poorly by the people who are in majority or who have higher status in that society. So the next aspect of welfare is to maintain the social cohesion and the stability in the society. Third is human development. Investment in welfare, education, healthcare directly correlates with the improvement in human capital. The more educational and healthcare facilities are available for the people, it helps in the improvement of human being in a society. Welfare as an instrument of economic productivity, a healthy educated workforce contribute to the national development. The healthier the mentally, physically, socially people are prosperous, the more they are able to contribute in a society. Fourth is legitimacy of the governance. What is legitimacy? Is the lawful or legal governance system. Welfare policy reinforce trust in the governmental structure and their commitment to the equitable governance. Scandinavian social welfare models are there which align with the democratic stability. The better there is legal policy are aligning with the social system, and social system is better like adhering to the policies which are formulated for the people, then it will lead to the cohesion and the social welfare in the society. Third is it is a catalyst for the structural change. It is a catalyst, like it is a like it stimulates the change in the society. Welfare policy has challenged entrenched hierarchy. For instance, affirmative action program redefines access to the education and employment for historically marginalized communities. So here we will. I hope now you are able to understand like why we study the social welfare, what is its relevance, why it is needed at the very first place. Because without understanding social welfare, we cannot think about the policy formulation. When we are able to understand that these are the areas where we need to make the policies, and these are the certain segment in a society which needs special assistance or policy formulation or governance from the government, then they can easily we can make the change in the society. So social welfare administration help you to understand where we need to make the changes, what changes are required, and particularly right now what policies and programs we are having right now, and what change, how we can bring the changes in the society with the help of policy formulation and by implementation. And in as well as like not only bringing policies and programs, we can understand what are the basic loopholes in the existing legal system in the society. So okay, first of all, what is the definition of analytical dimension of social welfare? Social welfare refers to the system of organized efforts, policies and programs aimed at enhancing the social well-being and individuals and the communities, particularly the vulnerable groups who are marginalized section of the society. So we try to provide welfare schemes, we provide to give them policies. So now from where these concepts came into existence, which we are studying now, first of all, philosophical like a utilitarian perspective. Now if some concept is coming, it is coming from the earlier studies which happened in the past. So utilitarian perspective is like what is the utility? Utility means use of particular thing, why we should do these now this utilitarian approach maximize the collective happiness and minimizing the suffering. The lesser the suffering in a society, it will lead to the prosperity, it will lead to the cohesion, more stability in the society. Welfare program focus on aggregate utility and disruptive equality. Now human rights approach is another aspect which we can refer to, which from where we have started these like these concepts emerged from. Human rights approach anchored in ensuring the inherited dignity, freedom and equality of all the individuals. Welfare is a vehicle for enabling access to the fundamental rights. Got it? Because the better of society is like in its the more social welfare is there in with the people, the more they will be enjoying or more they will be having like access to the fundamental rights. So I would like to explain further what is the role of social welfare administration, what is its meaning, scope and its nature. Now what is the meaning of social welfare administration? You have heard the term administration. Administration itself means to look after. Now when we are talking about social welfare, that administration is there to take care of the people. Now social welfare administration basically is a process of implementing welfare policies, programs and services through a systematic and efficient use of resources. Got it? I am repeating, social welfare administration is a process of implementing policies, welfare policies, programs and services that are through a systematic and efficient use of resources. Resources are limited. The better these resources are utilized, better it is for the humanity. So we are managing the human resource, financial resource in such a way that we are taking maximum utilization of these resources. So to combine elements of management, public administration and social work to operationalize welfare objective. Now if we talk about the functional definition of social welfare, the execution of welfare policies through the planning, organizing. Now what is administration? You already know post-core. Do you know this? What is post-core? Planning, organizing, coordinating, staffing, managing. So when we are talking about social welfare administration, that means all the administration is working towards the social welfare schemes, and all the principles which are we already studied in previous classes. So we are utilizing those principles and those operations in social welfare policy, like when we are implementing social welfare policies and other things, that is with the help of these principles only. Like all the principles of administration are applicable here as well. So normative aspect, functional definition is clear. So when we are trying to understand the social welfare, that means that is a functional definition, like how the administration will function while implementing the policies. First it will organize, it will make the staffing, it will direct, that is leadership, who will give orders to whom, coordination of different departments and different segments of the societies, and budgeting is important aspect. Then the monitoring. Now why monitoring is important? Suppose government has provided all the budget, it has set the timeline, it has given the blueprint, everything is done, but when it comes to the proper implementation, there are so many constants which are hindering the proper implementation of the policies. So because society is every day changing, many unknown and sometimes even the political will is become a hindrance in completing the social welfare projects and all. So here functional definition is this, that we are able to implement all the administrative principle properly. Now normative aspect says administration must uphold ethical and right based principle in its operation. Everyone should get all the rights in equality. Yes, there are terminologies of positive discrimination, that specific policies will be pro these people who need special assistance from the government. Now what is the nature of public social welfare administration? It is multidisciplinary nature. Write down nature of social welfare administration. It has a multidisciplinary nature, combines principles of economics, resource allocation, sociology, understanding the social structure, and psychology, and political science and policy implementation. That we should be understanding these aspects to understand one social welfare administration. A person or anyone who is related to social welfare administration should have the combined knowledge of the principles of economics, sociology, and human behavior, because ultimately your work is with the human behavior, with the society, as well as with the political science. So the basic principle of all these things should be known to a person, known to whosoever is dealing with the social welfare administration. What are the dynamics and the concept specific? Welfare administration evolves in response to the societal changes, demographic shift, economic crisis, or technological advancements. Now we are living in a technological era. AI has changed the so many perspectives. Things are changing. If we see things from the lens of what are the impact of artificial intelligence on society? Suppose there are certain websites which are not good for the people, deep fake kind of things. I hope you know about that. So they have certain impact. Yes, it has positive influence right now, but time will come they may have negative impacts. But my main concern is that whatever change is happening around the world, it is going to impact on the society, and ultimately we need to bring certain changes, some specific changes which are required as per the needs, as per the society, and as per the dimension and geography of that place. So value oriented framework is another aspect. Value oriented framework anchored in the principle of justice, equality, inclusivity, and human dignity. Second aspect is dynamic and concept specific. Third is value oriented framework. These are the nature, like we will be under, like these are the specific things which are associated with the social welfare administration. Value oriented framework, it ensures the welfare administration transcend mere bureaucratic efficiency to address ethical imperatives, Fourth is decentralized and participatory. Without decentralization and without participation, social welfare means nothing. If people are not participating, if they are not given proper authority, like a democratically they are having powers in their hands, then social welfare means nothing. So modern welfare administration emphasizes community participation, recognizing the importance of grassroots level insights in designing and implementing the policies, because ultimately it is the person who is living in a village or a town should get the benefits from the social welfare schemes. Only then it is able to like fulfill its purpose. Next is the scope of social welfare. So scope of social welfare administration. First is the what is that first is policy formulation. All the scope which are associated with the basic administration, the similar it carries the scope in social welfare administration as well. First is policy formulation, analyzing societal needs and prioritizing the design of social welfare policies. Second is drafting framework for universal healthcare and housing scheme. Like anything, it is, I'm just giving the example. There are like where any aspect you touch in a society, you need to make certain policies which are for the benefits of people, whether it is human, whether it is any third gender in a society, or whatever vulnerable group you take, or not only about, it's not only about the vulnerable group, normal people who are living in a society, they may be facing, and administration may need to make the policies for them. The first scope is policy formulation. Got it? Next is resource mobilization and allocation. Resource mobilization and allocation, that is efficient use of financial, human and institutional resources. Third is ensures equity, this is allocation of resources. Second point, ensures equity in resource distribution, especially for marginalized communities. Resources are that there should not, government should be able to track that the gap between rich and poor should not increase with the time. Otherwise it will lead to more problem in a society. The more the gap in rich and poor, it cannot be considered as a equity or equal society. Equal means that rich and poor both are working together, like the gap is not much. So the lesser is the gap in a society, the better it is for the peaceful cohesion in a society. Third is service delivery. Service delivery, direct provisions of welfare schemes such as education, healthcare, housing and unemployment benefits. Service delivery means any type of societal needs are being delivered by the government to the people, whether it is healthcare, whether it is education, housing or whatever. And even the public distribution system is there. The people who cannot buy, they cannot buy basic things for them, like basic food. Suppose for an example, like they are not able to purchase wheat or rice. The government is there to provide them with nominal prices. That comes under the public distribution system. And not only food, basic lentils, basic needs are being distributed by the government through the local centers. Fourth is monitoring and the evolution. Continuous assessment of the welfare programs to ensure effectiveness and addresses inefficiencies. Why monitoring is important? Why monitoring is important? Because without monitoring, how will you know whether we are hitting the target? Because every policy has certain timelines. If we are not monitoring, then the chances are that the projects or policies may delay. So monitoring play an important role so that we can hit the time limit, we can complete all the projects on a time period. So this is why monitoring is important. So evaluation. Now evaluation means we are analyzing whether whether we are able to reach all our set targets with the time or not. That is evaluation, utilizing the data driven approaches for evidence based policy making. Okay, now fifth is advocacy and stakeholder engagement. Advocacy and stakeholder engagement. Collaborating with the NGOs, international organizations and private entities to enhance welfare delivery mechanism. The people and it helps in promoting awareness about social rights and entitlements. Because NGO work for the welfare of its people. So basically, sometimes the government take people from different NGOs for formulation of the policies, because because these kind of agencies work very closely with the society. Suppose there is a segment of a society which is not very much. Suppose I'll take the example of women, widow women, or the women who are humanly trafficked by the people, or something wrong, they are being raped, or they are taken to a NGO. So they know what are their needs, what they should be, they should know, like they can create the awareness among these women, because closely when one agency is working, they got a close connection with these people, and they can provide awareness as well as they can bring the societal changes. So the stakeholder engagement is important for the policy formulation and the proper implementation of social welfare administration. So advocacy and stakeholder engagement is one of the another scope of social welfare administration. Next is crisis management. Crisis management. COVID-19. Whenever you remember about crisis, we get we go back and we get like glimpses of COVID-19. And before that also there were some like natural calamity happened for humanity. So wherever humanity needed some kind of help, at that time social welfare like the scope of social welfare is also there. It play an important role in crisis management. Now administering welfare during emergencies such as natural disaster, pandemic, you just said COVID-19, and economic recessions. So example, food aid programs during global crisis and during natural calamity, they are there to help the people. Okay, now what were the problems which were there during the pandemic? Yes, there were administrative problems. Yes, there were many problems in actually implementing the like handling the crisis situation. Even if something happens unsuddenly, suppose there is a derailment or something natural calamity came, sometimes it is difficult for the administration to reach promptly in that situation. So yes, there, because humanly also sometimes it is not possible when it comes to the administration and has to collaborate with different agencies. So if we try to understand critically and reflect back, there are tension between universalism and targeting. So universal welfare program aimed for inclusivity but risk inefficiencies due to resource constraints, and targeted program address specific vulnerable but often result in exclusion. Next is administrative challenges like bureaucratic inefficiencies, corruption, lack of accountability often undermines welfare administration. Now leakage in subsidy system in developing economies is one of the example. Next is globalization and neoliberalism. Neoliberal policies have reshaped welfare ideologies, emphasize privatization and market-based solutions. Now, what is the main things if we talk about education? People are saying that it should be completely privatized. There are certain segment of the society like airplanes, and these things should be privatized. So it is not possible for everyone to afford private fees or private expenses. So government has to decide, like even if there is liberalization or there are neoliberal policies and globalization is happening around the world, even then it has to take care for the people who need their special assistance. For an example, if we privatize the railway system today, the price high is bound to happen. In that situation, the middle class, even I'm not talking about the poor class, the lower middle class and the middle class will not be able to travel through the like it is assumption. But even if you take the example of education system, the fees of a government and the private institute is there is a huge difference. So similarly, when it comes, yes, there are impact of globalization and neoliberal liberalism. Policies have ideologies, but we cannot privatize everything. We cannot make things so much liberal. So resulting trade-offs, including reduced state control, but enhanced innovations in welfare policy is needed to some extent. Now the role of technology. Role of technology. These are the critical reflections which are there. Technology enabled welfare, e-governance, digital cash transfer has revolutionized administrative efficiency. However, it raises concern about the digital exclusion and data privacy. Got an example? Should I explain it more? Okay. First of all, it has revolutionized, it has increased the efficiency, it has increased the like people are, DBTs are there, direct benefit transfer schemes are there. People get direct money in their banks. So okay, they received all the, and there are Aadhaar cards which are combined with their digital system, but privacy concerns are there. The data leakages, cybercrime has, like these things has been like increased, which were like these cases were not available, were not there in past few decades, but now we are facing lot of policy constraint. There are cyber security crimes, and there are lot of things which technology has created. Like it is a somewhere to some extent privacy concerns are there. It has raises the concern about the digital exclusion, like the people who are not digitally literate, it will exclude these people. They cannot take the benefit of digital technologies, because government is emphasizing on digital changes and it is revolutionizing the digital technology. Now the next is ethical imperatives. Balancing administrative efficiency with the empathic service delivery remains a perennial challenge in welfare administration. Ethical imperatives are there. Things can be misused. Even the people who are having your data, tomorrow they can leave the job, or they may be having your data. So privacy concerns are there with the welfare schemes. We need to change as per the needs, as per the global changes happening around the world due to liberalization, or today we are a global society. People are very much near to the person who is staying 7 continents away from that, but he is far away from the person who is staying in one room. So yes, there are changes happening around the world which administration has to think about and give holistic solution to the problems which mankind is facing. So here we will conclude the first unit of the social welfare administration, which is the concept, nature and the scope. If you have any question, you can ask anything related to that.